with my cold.
With your fucking COVID over there, your COVID-19.
That's fucking straight spike protein right
This
there.
is literally a super spreader event.
Yeah.
You have to go.
You have been getting the vaccine, haven't you? Get a magnet and stick it to his arm.
Yes.
See what the fuck.
Yes,
Why are you reaching for the one arm?
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, wait, hold on. All right, hold on. I know that's not true because if he'd been sitting in his car, it would have been the other side. So you're okay. All right.
I had to have somebody drive me. I had to have somebody drive me because of the 15 minutes, right? Oh, guys, I'm sorry to say, I had to get the vaccine. I got both doses. Actually, I went. I got the Pfizer and the Moderna.
That was the end of the Truthzilla podcast.
I got the Johnson & Johnson one.
But did you get the AstraZeneca?
Well, no. I went to go get the AstraZeneca, and then they stopped me and said, "Sir, you need to stop taking COVID vaccines, please. Can you stop?"
Did they give you all the flu shots that you've missed over the years?
Dude, I've been eating donuts. I've been drinking beer, dude. I've been going getting lap dances. It's fucking awesome, dude. You guys got
all this because of the vaccine. The vaccine opened up the world for you.
It's so badass.
Mercury and just add some extra.
It's been great. It's been awesome. But anyway,
wow.
You guys, I'm gonna be trying to do this.
Chemtrail right up my ass.
Yeah, dude. I've been hiking to the top of mountains just to get closer to the chemtrails to huff them, dude. Like it's been great. That's great. I've never felt better. But a little sniffly. Gonna try and do this little ad here in the beginning, you guys. If you want to support the show, please go to truthzilla.org/donate. You can find all the donate options there: PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Bitcoin. Contribute to our shitcoin fund. There's the BNB link right there, so we can do our.
Stop it, Scott. Are you serious?
Yeah, it says shitcoin fund. It's like if you look at the show episode description, it says shitcoin fund right there, dude. It's hilarious. You haven't caught that yet?
I have not caught that particular one.
Go get yourself a Truthzilla t-shirt, truthzilla.org/shirts, and you guys got all kinds of good stuff coming up. Anyway, all right, guys, enjoy the show.
Welcome to Truthzilla. I am Megan, sitting here with Scott and Ed. Our guest tonight is the host of the epic new podcast, Project Chaney, which has already featured 2/3 of Truthzilla.
Yep.
Please welcome one of our favorite truth tellers, the magical sorceress, Chaney. Hi, Chaney.
Hi.
How are you tonight?
How are you guys?
Good. How is it in Florida tonight? I must know that right off the top.
It is very hot today, or actually it thunderstormed today. So we got a little cooling off. It was hot this morning, and then we are in desperate need of rain. So we've been getting it. Thank goodness.
Pretty dry, huh?
Yeah, it's very it's unusual how dry we are right now.
Interesting. Is it still humid though? I hear that's a big element of Florida is that the humidity, even when it's hot, it's humid.
It's always humid.
Yeah.
See, always.
Okay.
Yeah, from the ground. Yeah, heat coming up and heat coming down. It's pretty intense. But it's about to be summer in Florida. So if you can make it through like the next 90 days of Florida, you can make it through any desert heat.
But it stays sweltering it stays like a wet heat always. It doesn't ever just like dry up like Mojave Desert heat. So like in your peak summer months, it's wet, you're wet, and it's burning hot, basically.
Yeah, you breathe in moisture. Like your lungs feel different. Like you breathe in a density of the swamp. It is it's a different place. I live by the shore though, so when I'm breathing in my humidity, there's salt mixed in.
Whoa, dude.
Thank goodness.
You're breathing straight freedom there, I think. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
It's pretty fantastic. Our governor is quite the if we lived in a country where it would behoove anyone to vote because the system that we voted in was legal and was binding somehow that mattered, I would say DeSantis is a bright shining star for America's future if we lived in a place where voting mattered and was, on the up and up.
Right.
True.
Were people's votes counted, you mean? Is that what you're getting at, Chaney?
Well, I'm glad that over half the votes are counted in Maricopa County. So we are getting closer to my pillow dates, which I love my pillow dates.
Okay. You're going to have to give us a breakdown here, Chaney, because I admittedly have not, I've heard little rumblings here and there, but I have not been following this whole thing. I'm so black-pilled on the election and any of that bullshit, dude. Oh, my God.
I feel like it's okay for me to come out and tell everyone. I mean, Saturday Night Live has done skits about it. I'm a QAnon witch. Everyone.
Yes. All right. You know what's funny is that we were...
Didn't I see you at the Capitol?
You know, we knew that we were before the show. Just a little funny thing. We were trying to think of a good word, a good adjective for the introduction, and so we actually typed in which synonyms, and so we're looking up which synonyms. We're like,
Well, because we were having debate about which synonym.
which WITCH
Yes,
synonyms.
right.
You know what I mean? And
right.
so we
I
ended up
said
with
sorceress before we got
yeah.
into
So,
all this
so
conversation.
we landed on sorceress. So you're a QAnon sorceress witch. QAnon witch. Tell us more. What's going on?
QAnon witch. I didn't even know I was a QAnon witch until Saturday Night Live mocked it, and then I was like, "Huh, that feels real nice." And if you look up, it just feels like it pisses off the right amount of people.
Yep.
You know,
The right
it makes,
amount.
yeah, it just no one likes it. It doesn't feel good to anyone. And I like that kind of awkward.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna own it. I feel like everybody's hightailed away from QAnon because of, HBO documentary, and I don't care if it triggers everybody. There's still the rightest fucking group of people out there, and burn. It hurts to feel. But everything with the election, everything with Dr. Fauci, everything about everything. There's a whole bunch of people who still knew it was going to all be this way, but you guys have been mocking them on the internet for the last few years. So yeah, now I've learned how to do spells too. So we're taking it to a whole nother level.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Learning
QAnon
how to do
spells. You know what's funny? I was at the gym the other night, and I try to avert eye contact with the TV at all times, but sometimes it's unavoidable. And the few times that I actually did, my eyes met the TV screen. It was just an abomination every single time. All right, but the one that really stood out, it was a local newscast. So, I don't know where they were getting their marching orders from, but basically the headline read, "QAnon making a comeback according to new CNN study," and I'm just like,
Oh God.
No. Because is anybody really fall for this? Like, is anybody like, wow, dang it, honey,
Well,
honey, CNN says QAnon's
be
coming
pointing
back.
the finger at the domestic terrorists, right?
Right.
So they're not letting that go.
No,
Right. So
that's all they got to hold on to now. They're like domestic
No,
terrorists,
still.
but no.
December 6th, January 6th,
January 6th.
Yeah. So it's all they run on. And I mean, they still can't keep Trump's. They talk about Trump more than they talk about Biden. So we're
their
still
ratings
here.
are
They
in
dare
the
not.
toilet.
They dare not speak about Biden. Nobody wants to keep talking about that huge elephant in the room. It's interesting, but I'm kind of surprised that we don't hear something. But I guess there's nothing that anybody could actually say and not sound completely off their fucking chair. Like there's nothing you could say that's in any way positive or encouraging. I mean, the whole thing is just such a demoralizing sham.
You could be like, Biden walked all the way up the stairs onto the plane today.
On his own.
I watched him speak yesterday he was doing something for Black Americans. And he walked up to a little girl before he started speaking. He came out and he walked over to a little girl and whispered something to her, and then came back to the mic and was like, "I'm going to make sure she gets ice cream after." And ice cream, which is very
Very groomy.
to me, very Pizzagate. It's pizza parlors, ice cream shops. It's they're poosh, doosh, doosh. And it made me so viscerally sick. I dry heaved. It was something about his energy and that being allowed. I'm even the most liberal person has to sit in the room. There has to be a mom in that room that is grossed out by this situation going on. It isn't about politics. It's just this scumbag, this guy that gets away with this and is doing this on a regular basis. And there's all the proof out there. There's all the proof out there that this guy is doing bad stuff to kids. Yeah. And it's crazy that we live in a place where we are in this spot in America because people voted for hate. They hated Trump so much that we are in this whole spot. Yeah. And that's crazy to me.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. It really is.
Well, they fed that hate. We've talked about this off and on, back and forth quite a bit, but just the whole spiritual energy behind all of it and the division behind all of it, they couldn't divide us any other way except for making everything just be like this inverted psychological fucking wreck, you know. And the thing is, like, they took Trump apart for everything. They're still taking the shit that Biden's doing. They're still saying Trump's doing it, you know, like it's constant, but they can't say, it's like the dissonance is so thick that they won't admit that this guy is like a child predator and that he causes legitimate like trauma and harm, and he's, you know, ruined lives, and his son has ruined lives because we need him to help to usher in the new world order under Nancy. You know, it's just, it's disturbing to me how few people are actually willing to take a stand. Like, it's like you say, there has to be some mom in the room that's just fucking disgusted by it. Like, everyone's just silent. And a lot of it, I think the media does silent stuff, but I really feel like people are just not saying anything. People are just fucking quiet.
Well,
and
they might not be watching, though, also. Like, I mean,
like, people just don't bother.
I feel like,
I'm the weirdo.
I know. I was like, well, I'm
the
certainly
numbers of
didn't
people
watch
actually
it.
watching Biden. I mean, this guy's not selling stadiums, right? Like,
Right. It's true.
There's not much attention there, right? Like,
Right.
I mean, I doubt the room's very full, honestly. I mean, that's been my experience when I have seen him speak.
Right.
You know, the room's half empty, and it's probably his cronies, right?
You're
So-
doing the good thing listening. I can't bring myself to do it. Every so often I hear him start to say something. I'm just like, I can't listen. I get so flabbergasted.
I don't all the time. It was a rarity that I caught it, and I was really like, I couldn't believe how nauseous, like, for real, like dry heaved. And then I thought I had to go to the bathroom and throw up. And I'm just like, I can't believe this is the dude leading a country right now. Yeah. Like, there's nothing clean about this guy.
Yeah.
I will also, like, my witchy, because he was talking to like some African American caucus, and you can find so much stuff of how racist this guy is from his history. He's like the most racist dude. And so I was like, say the N-word, Biden, say the N-word. Like, I was like attaching to him, like, mess up, say it, and go hard, go Negro Biden. Why don't you go full colored Biden? Why don't you go so pappy on us that we're like, whoa, this is a granddad? But I kind of feel like he is that dude. You can find everything where he's going full hard ER. Like, he's not even messing around with the racist stuff. Yeah. So I just don't understand where we're at, that this guy is allowed to speak to Black people. Like, how dare he? How dare he even have a say-so or the audacity to stand in a room of some of the, like, best Black leaders in America right now? Yeah. How dare this scumbag? And then go over and, like, flirt with a 5-year-old beforehand, talk about ice cream. Yeah. What world are we in?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think COVID has shown us the world we live in, where most of the people you see around you have outsourced their critical thinking, right? Yeah. And they're letting CNN and MSNBC and these big media outfits that we know are all liars, like, they're letting them do the thinking for them. They're not even, I mean, I think the best example, and I hate to, like, I really enjoyed having Tommy Chong on, but before we had him on, I watched a podcast on one of our friends' podcasts, and literally in the same sentence, the guy said, I know that I went to jail because of the law that Biden passed, but I still supported him, and I'm totally with him on, you know, to be elected against Trump, right? Like, it's like, but that's most people, even the people.
Oh God, sorry guys. Oh.
I think you need to go and pull the yellow stick out of the cup, Scott.
Okay, there we go. It's the most dangerous thing. White supremacy. Anyway, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry to interrupt. I was just pulling up some information here.
So I guess I feel like that a lot of our country is just like that, right? Like, even if you tell them, even if you show them the clips of, like, how racist this guy is, even if it affects you directly, the media tells you he's good for you right now, and you believe it. Yeah. Like, that's the world we live in right now.
Well, they want to believe it because he's the epitome of the sham that their lives represent. Like, everything is just complete make-believe. Everything's fucking make-believe. Like, everything that the people who are staunchly supporting him stand for, everything that they want, it's not good for people. It's not good for humanity. It's not good for families. It's not good for the country. Like, there's just, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I just don't know. Like, how many people we get, I mean, we go back to this over and over, but there wasn't really that many people that actually fucking supported him. I mean, there wasn't. He didn't legit win that election by any kind
he
of a
shouldn't have
margin.
been the nominee in the first place.
No,
let's be
he's
honest.
if nothing else, if he wasn't a racist pedophile, he's incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
He's incompetent.
A corrupt criminal.
He's corrupted.
Racist pedophile.
Yeah, he is.
This clip I accidentally bumped into that started playing there. It was a little video that I saw earlier. That was pointed out to me. It's this from a clip from a podcast called the Kwame Brown Bust Life podcast, apparently, and it was an interview with Judge Joe Brown. Have you seen this at all, Chaney? Have you heard of this at all?
No.
So Judge Joe Brown, right? Yes, that
like
Judge
the
Joe
TV
Brown.
judge?
Yes, the guy
Okay.
from the TV, Judge Joe Brown. Just talking about his personal accounts from like the 70s of having interactions with Biden, and you know what I mean, and like seeing him in like full on racist mode, dude. It's insane in his account of how this guy is. Now, an interesting side note about Judge Joe Brown is that he, I didn't know this until I started looking into the whole MLK thing, Martin Luther King assassination. Basically, he was what is it? James Earl Ray. James Earl Ray was the guy that they set up for that assassination, right? And they got a forced confession. And my understanding is that James Earl Ray's initial attorney got him to confess. And he got him to confess under the pretenses of saying, okay, look, this is such a high-profile case. Like he said, look, just confess, and then you can appeal it, and it'll get overturned on appeal. That was the defense, and so that was what he claimed, that he was being starved and coerced, and made that confession, being coerced, under the impression that he would just get, and he kept throughout the whole initial trial trying to get a new attorney because this attorney that he had was such a piece of crap. Trying to get a new attorney, and so eventually he pled guilty to the assassination of Martin Luther King, and spent the rest of his life trying to have that overturned, and he kept going to appeals over and over and over and over and over. And the final judge who was seeing the final appeals case was Judge Joe Brown, was the last judge that was actually seeing that case, and James Earl Ray died. He was an old man at this point and died while he was during that trial, and his lawyer died apparently subsequently after. And there's a really interesting interview with Judge Joe Brown where he's talking about how, like, he's explaining that trial, and he's talking about how if James Earl Ray would have lived, with all the evidence I had, I would have overturned the case. It would have overturned the conviction. And then that was before the 1999 civil trial. And not a lot of people know about this. Every Martin Luther King Day, I always post a meme about this just so people can go look. It's Dr. Pepper, Dr. Barry Pepper, was the attorney for the King family throughout all this, right? So Dr. Pepper, that's how I remember that. But they won. They won a civil trial that named several 8 entities of the United States government were found guilty in a conspiracy to assassinate Martin Luther King. It's so insane. Like, not everybody knows that. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
So literally the U.S. government was found guilty in a civil trial for conspiracy to commit murder in the assassination of Martin Luther King.
What names were they, I wonder?
It was like
I'll have to look into this later.
agencies. Yeah, it's on like the Martin Luther King. You can actually get the transcript for the entire trial. But anyway, I was just saying all that because like I had no idea. Like Judge Joe Brown, I thought he was just like a TV personality.
Deep dive
but
next time
That he
MLK
did
Day
real
comes
law.
around.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
do a deep dive on that and just
Totally.
Yeah,
But
bring some light to
But
it.
Judge Joe Brown's a very, like, I had no idea. Like, he's a pretty high status actual
So
judge,
he was a federal judge then.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely.
Is he as high status as Judge Judy?
I mean, almost.
No one is as high status as
Maybe,
Judge Judy.
maybe,
Come on now.
maybe. But I thought that was super interesting, and then to have him come out now and be like just saying like personal accounts. So anyway, maybe I'll put a link to the show description if I remember to that particular interview. But
Yeah, I think Jesse Jackson's dirty too.
Yep,
He's all
yep.
linked up in the MLK assassination. He's always in the right place at the right time. I think he was actually standing on the
Yep.
balcony.
Yep. It's back with the bow ties or the neckties or something. Like all the people that were wearing neckties were like the ones don't shoot this person. If you actually shoot at anybody, don't shoot the person with the necktie or something like that. I feel like there was something like that. And
It's interesting because the necktie automatically makes me think of like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And then if you go into everything with Malcolm X and what they did to him, he became Muslim, and then he realized very quickly that they were like, abusing children too. And he was like, because he always thought it was the white devil, but it was happening in the highest parts of the people that he held like teachers as well. And so it was really heartbreaking for him. And once he was going to come out and say something about it, they say that the like CIA with the Church of Islam like had him assassinated.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know about all that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
So I wanted to ask you about, I don't know, can I ask you about, and if no, we'll edit it out later. He'll edit it out later. So I listened to like just almost an hour and 40 minutes today of your interview with Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
And I was curious more just about, I know you had done some work with her. How do you pronounce it? Reiki? Reiki?
Reiki.
I always say it wrong over and over again. But it sounded really, really cool. But I actually was just interested to hear your experience with, if you wanted to share, but if you don't, that's okay. It could be.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
If you would ask me probably even a year ago, I was just not a person that was this woo-woo that would even get down with it. And I've had friends in my life that were Reiki masters and all sorts of, fairy type girls. And I just never, anyone that ever offered it to me, I was just kind of like, yeah. But since doing this show, I'm kind of open to whatever people have going on. And Bianca is a Reiki master. And so when I finally hit her up and was just like, okay, Bianca, I think I want to do Reiki, she was all like, I was waiting for you to ask. And so I was just like, okay. So it's energy, and she also works in your chakras. And not all Reiki masters are a little different in what they specialize in. And then she's starting to work in the Akashic. So your past lives. And so you deal with trauma and healing, like lifetimes that aren't necessarily this one.
Mm-hmm.
So today I had a session, and she started in my head, and she said that it was so much, it made her clench her teeth. I haven't re-listened, and I don't want to get the words wrong really with what she said and probably how beautiful they were compared to my relaying. She said that it made her grit her teeth. It was just so much, so that I kind of had to work on that. She said that when she got to like my third eye, it was so bright, but it was blinding. Like it, to her, it was too bright. And when she got to my throat chakra, she felt like a pain in the left side of her chakra, or like a clearing, which made it, for her, whatever her signs are, that was like an addict to her that was trying to come through. Like, did I lose an addict in my life? So I didn't even think about it. I was like racking my brain, and then she's just like, is it your father? And I was just like, oh yeah, it would be. And, so that was, and my hands were sweating really bad, and my stomach was so making noises. And, then when she got to like my gut, I felt this like, I'm not really a crier, but I kind of got really weepy, and this like really heavy emotion that from my guts to my sacral chakra, that I just was like, that I lost my baby, that somebody took my baby from me. Wow. And that I kind of relayed that to her, but she writes, she's like in her own thing. She asked me afterward kind of what I went through, but she already wrote her synopsis. So it just, she already wrote her synopsis and kind of sent it to me. So me just going over this is just probably maybe validation for her. So I just was so sad. Like I didn't even get to hold my baby. And she's like, I feel like this, like a father love for it, or a mother love. She kind of was going back and forth. But she's like, you were a pirate in your past life. Like you had a whole crew. Okay. And I think that maybe like my whole crew kind of died. Like I had to witness my crew die, but I was pregnant. So it delayed my hanging. And then they took my baby, and I died of the infection afterward. It's the whole craziest thing. But in past lives, I've watched my crew die a lot of times. And in some past lives, I was a coward and didn't speak up. And some past lives, I didn't have the power to speak up. But like, I think I've watched my coven burn and my crew hang, and maybe not this lifetime though, not this lifetime, but yeah, somewhere. This is kind of part of my Reiki that I did today, and it was really heavy.
Wow.
It sounds so nuts to kind of go through it in that sporadic of a thing, from like my father to my pirate life.
That's really amazing, actually. It's really...
That's Akashic stuff. And then she did energy stuff too, and like Kundalini, and worked on my chakras. But I'm just like in awe of those things that I told you right now.
Wow.
Well, I saw you making some posts earlier about some pirate gal that kind of is reminiscent of what you just described. Do you feel like you channeled your, like that energy's being, like, you know what I mean? You were making some posts earlier.
Yeah.
Tell us about that lady. Do you feel like that's a representation of, is that you?
I don't know, but that's Mary Reed.
Okay.
And she was a pirate, and she was also known as Mark Reed. Her mom had a son that she lost that died. And so she, and I'll just tell you what, I have had to clear my throat since Reiki all day. I don't ever have a problem with having to, and I'm like, it's like this nervous tick since then. I don't think it's that. I don't know what's going on.
I've got a bug in my throat too, really bad. It's seasonal allergies for me. But also, I'm surrounded by vaccinated people at work, so
Yeah,
I'm
you're just getting shed on.
I'm just getting shed on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this is just straight shit.
When I started to get cramps in my Reiki session, I was like, "No, this isn't shedding. Like, like this isn't like I'm gonna be present in the Reiki thing." But she was like, so she had to pretend she was her brother.
Okay.
Because in England, there wasn't any kind of schooling, military, or anything like that for women. So she pretended she was a boy, and then ended up on a crew with Calico Jack for a while. She was the only woman that had her own crew, but then she had other women there was so many other women pirates that I didn't find out. I didn't know anything about women pirates till today. And I've totally been on so many rabbit holes. There's stories of like a woman who refused to be hung other than anything because they were going to give her like a lenient sentence. And she was like, "No, you'll hang me as a pirate." And she's the last woman to be hung in Massachusetts.
Whoa.
Oh, shit.
Dang. Hang me as a pirate.
Hang me.
There you go. That's the episode title right there. There you go. Bam. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's really intense. Well, I feel like, I mean, having gotten to know you more and more, I feel like that you're like an old soul, like intuitive. And I know that you haven't always necessarily perceived that about yourself, but I perceive that about you a lot. And just having conversations with you and like hearing you talk to Bianca and the way that you are able just to really ride like an energetic current with somebody and just to be present and that you understand energy and that you understand intention and kind of like spell casting, which I'm actually learning more about a little bit from you. But I think it's really powerful and really cool that especially right now in the midst of everything that's going on, that you have these like crazy, like I feel like they're just like highly defined intuitive traits and this like, I don't know how like empathy feels to you in terms of how it emotionally resonates with you, but it comes across as like that you're really good at just holding space for people and you know and being able to be like an energetic stronghold, but for like, you know, good magic. So I'm
a professional space holder.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. So I want to ask, what else are you feel like's going on with your podcast? What other kind of guests? What kind of topics, most importantly, and what are you finding that you love to talk most about?
I love to talk to people about how long they knew they were weird, like how long they knew they were different than everyone else around them.
Yeah.
I love to talk to them about what on the darkest fucking day, like what is the reason that gets you out of bed that you keep breathing?
Yeah.
Like whatever that is, whatever that faith key is for people. Yeah. And I really like to talk about how magic everybody knows that they are, and like superpowers that they have, and intuitions that they starting to listen to, and synchronicities that they're starting to be aware or present for them, and these really heavy, deep connections that they're just being authentic and trusting and vulnerable, and like life is just unfolding in a whole different way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think everybody's a weirdo, and we're all pretending we're normal, like living like up to the best version of everybody's Facebook life. And yeah, I think if everybody just like gets down to their weirdo and owns it, and like there is no such thing as normal, and maybe everybody's like a mystical creature somehow, or maybe this like human, like here's humans and here's dogs and here's horses and here's tigers and here's, it's like, really, is this really it? Is this really it? Or is there something so much more that we can't see going on?
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
I like to talk to people about that.
I love that.
Man.
I'm looking forward to coming on your show too.
Oh yeah. Got to get Ed in there. Got to get Ed in the mix.
It is at the end of the month.
That's awesome. Yeah, I heard about that. It's super cool. Super cool.
So I have a question to follow up from the last time we were together. So you told me you were watching probably my all-time favorite show, the OA. Did you finish it?
I can't watch the last 3 episodes. I feel like we're living in the OA, and I can't finish it because I feel like somehow I'm going to know too much, or it's probably my shadow work. I should just go with it this week. Like just layer it all on and finish the OA.
Well, I have to say and you'll know when you get through those 3, but like there's all these rumors that are trickling around online right now that it is coming back for another season, and just how they leave it, and I can't tell you anything. It would make sense that, I feel like it's so deep that like on a greater level, like the canceling could have been fake, and it's just all part of the gimmick of the show, right? It's all, I don't know.
I'm into it. I'm totally gonna do it now.
The show transcends the show, right? Like the show is real. That's how.
Is it like life imitating art in our current situation?
No,
I haven't seen anything.
It's. I mean, it's just. I don't know how to explain it, but I will say. I've had this idea. Right? So I would love to, and I don't know. I never have the time to do all these ideas that I have, but I would love to make a podcast about people watching the show, the OA. Like watch an episode and then do a podcast about that episode. Right? And just go through all of it, and talk about it. Because I feel like there's so much depth to that show. Like there's so much to it.
It's so much. Yes. This is the nerdy thing I do every day. I go to Britney Spears. I just have this, like, this is what I'm manifesting on this timeline. So I go to Britney Spears. I know she's MK Ultra, and we're all watching a poor Project Monarch victim play out in front of us daily. I know what's happening. But if there's any control in there that the real Britney has, or her handlers or whatever, so every day that Britney makes one of her kooky, cocky, crazy posts, I write to Britney Spears that makes me laugh, something that makes me laugh. And then, so are we going to do those OA dance moves or what?
Yes.
Something to throw in the OA dance moves. Because I feel like if I can get Britney Spears to do these moves, we can create the next trend. And if we all are like whatever show the OA moves, then, like she posted the Princess Diana tweet the other day, and I wrote like, hey, Britney, I know a way we can get Princess Diana to come back to life. OA dance moves. Like anything she writes, I OA dance with her.
I love it so much. Yeah, okay, I have one specific question though. Probably my favorite thing that happened in that show, like the episode with the octopus. Did you just fucking love that?
Have
you got the octopus?
The octopus that comes, the octopus symbolism and the whole of my life or just for all of it, like the Tiger King of it all, my octopus teacher, the OA octopus, the octopus that are in that movie where the girl, what is it called, where she like communicates with the aliens and they all look like black octopus. And they write in a circular language.
Yeah. I don't know what that movie's called. That's a good one though. That's a good one.
I'm probably
they octopus symbology us a lot. Yeah. It's part of their weird. I don't know what the evil but they definitely want us to have an octopus teacher.
So it's a sci-fi series?
it's I don't know if sci-fi really gives you the whole picture. It's maybe a little bit sci-fi, but it's just.
So here's a great idea. So I like Ed's idea, and in the sense that we can make a mainstream podcast. We can make like a mainstream, like one of those types that would be like up on when you pull up your podcast app, it'll be right up there next to like the NPR little thing, right? We just make it totally we
would be ourselves though.
Hold on, no. That's the thing. That's the thing is we make like here we come in it like this, and we just make totally mainstream. We just totally vanilla, totally just like, oh my god, you see that episode last night? Oh my god, it was so amazing. And just go like that, okay? And we do that, and we do that. And we do that for like a good 6 months and build up like 1.5 million downloads, get a big following, and then all of a sudden, we go, all right, kids. Now on today's episode, we're going to talk about the Franklin scandal. Now, back in the day, there was a little boy named Johnny Gosh, and he was like, right.
We can watch different documentaries, like just all like and today we're gonna like after we get a huge audience, then watch like Pedowood.
Yeah, exactly. Imperium, all 6 hours.
Is that really one? Pedowood? I've never heard of that.
I might have made that up.
I was like, wait, I need to see.
It could be one too.
We should make it.
My brain's broken today.
Let's do it. Let's get with Craig, man. We'll make. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
Wait, Craig Sawyer?
Yeah, Craig. Okay. Buddy Craig. Yeah.
Do you remember the show Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Yes.
Like this idea, but we'll talk about the OA.
dude. Okay, so here I had an idea similar to that. I think this would be great.
Megan, you'll love it. It's the original Angel.
Totally.
The original. I don't know what any. I'm not understanding any of this. I can't get a visual on what your guys are even.
Dude, we're pitching shows.
Still in my mind, there's like little black octopus that are hanging from spiders' webs all around me.
Let me just give you like the synopsis of the.
Like, do I Netflix it? Is it Amazon
The start
Prime?
of the show, which the show goes so many different directions. But the start of the show, like it's basically this girl that's had like a near-death experience, right? And so you might have to help me with this, Chaney, because it's been a while. But she's had a near-death experience, and she meets some guy that is gathering people who've had near-death experiences, right? Because he's trying to look into it.
Okay.
But
is he like experimenting on him? Like
in a way,
psyops?
he's trying to see something, and then at the start of the show, she's just basically coming back to her home and to her parents, and she's been gone for a very long time, and you're going to start seeing what happened in the past and she has some new mystical abilities, I would say, in a way, and that's enough of the. I don't want to give anything away.
No, I hear you. I'll have to look at it.
It starts with the near-death experience, and there's just...
I need something new to watch, because I'm gonna tell everybody right now, I'm going to admit, I never watch TV, like virtually never, ever, ever. Never pick a show, but sometimes I just get down like watching YouTube videos, and it's just not healthy, and it's not good, and it's not like benefiting me in my life. So it's like, okay. So just keep in mind that I'm saying it didn't benefit me in life. So let me tell you what I thought would benefit me at 11 o'clock at night the other night when I was tired, and I just was like totally emotionally burned. Nothing bad happened. I was just like done. It was like a long day. I was like, I don't know what to do. And I was just like, okay, pick something lighthearted. Megan, think back into your head. What's something lighthearted you've seen in the past? Like many years ago. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to open Amazon Prime. And at the moment that I'm thinking the movie, the third movie over it recommends was Zach and Miri Make a Porno, which this is what I was watching. And I was like, dead face, drool on my pillow, totally unhappy with life, like watching. I was like, I remember this being really funny. I'm actually not laughing. A couple times I got a chuckle, and there was one moment where they pretended it was going to be romantic, which gave me like a little bit of like those pretend romantic butterflies, like for a split second. But the rest of the movie that I was like, this is totally wasting my time. I could have been watching two guys build shelters in, tropical jungles like normal. So I need something new. I did Game of Thrones.
I feel like I've seen that movie.
It's the two guys?
No, the Zach.
Yeah, we all watch them, right?
I mean, I used to be a huge Kevin Smith fan. It's interesting though.
Is he's in the OA?
No.
Oh.
He did the Zach and Miri.
Oh, okay.
He made that movie.
He's the
producer?
He's
the director.
Oh, director. Okay.
He's directed. He did
Clerks,
Mallrats,
Chasing Amy.
He did Dogma. There's some good ones in there, but I feel like it was maybe a different time of my life, although I have seen him live and he's pretty funny. He is pretty funny. But
I'm a comic book nerd, so it's like I don't watch YouTube so much anymore, but I totally will watch Kevin Smith Batman on Batman.
Yeah. Totally.
Cheney has
Blunt
to.
Man and Chronic.
You got to tell her about who's the guy with the comic, the Truth comics.
He was on her show, Paranoid American.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, all
Yeah.
right. No,
Yeah.
never mind then.
Yeah. We need to get him on totally, dude. Like
Yeah.
he made a little animation for us that haven't found the perfect place to utilize it yet, but yeah,
I
shout out to
seen it?
Paranoid American. Thank you.
It's the
That's
3D.
a little logo. The
Oh
3D logo.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. You guys, if you're not following Paranoid American on Instagram at Paranoid American, dude, just sick art all day long, dude. Living the dream, making his own comic books,
Yeah,
like
it's
conspiracy,
pretty cool.
like alternative
He's
history.
another Florida guy.
Another Florida guy, yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah,
All
shout
the
out.
goods are over in Florida. We just
Yep.
need to get over there.
I know.
So, is there a
You
good
guys
place for
have
our
to
Truth
come.
Compound in Truth Beach, Chaney?
Truth Beach.
I know you guys got to figure out what you want.
Well, here's the thing.
There's
I
everything in Florida.
I
See
started.
that? Do you hear that, Scott?
Yeah, I know. I started applying for jobs, and I applied for several jobs. Like I was looking at specifically your area because I wanted to land somewhere where I knew somebody. You know
How
what I mean?
can
Like,
you not?
pretty
That's like
much knew
perfect to
somebody.
be at Truth Beach.
Yeah. So I was applying for jobs around there, and then I got a call or I got a response to one of them, and it said, "Hi, saw you got an application in. Let us know when you'll be in Florida, and we can set up an interview." And I'm like, "Dang!" So like, this is like it got a little too
the
real.
job market in Florida is legit right now
Yeah.
because most of the population's old people. They need everything done for them.
Oh yeah, huh?
So you can't compare it to the pay you're going to make on the West Coast.
Yeah.
But your cost of living is going to be so significantly less.
Yeah.
And plus, we have no state tax.
Okay,
So
We don't have
interesting.
state tax either.
Well, sales tax. Like, do you have income tax, right?
we don't have any, so we don't, you guys have Oregon state tax. We don't have Florida state tax.
Yeah, I see. Oh, dude,
I
yeah,
see.
none of
That's
that shit.
badass. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay, cool. So anyway,
I kind of ran into the same thing though. I mean,
Yeah.
I applied for some jobs in
Yeah.
Texas when we were talking about Texas. And I even got a call in interview thing, but then they basically said they asked me how long it'd take me to move there, and I said it probably about a month. And they reached back out and said, let us know when you're here. We'd
Yeah.
consider you, but we can't wait that long.
so it almost seems like it'd have to be you have to save up a little bit. I have
Yeah.
to save up a pretty good chunk.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
we'll see.
Kind of crazy. What about housing in the down there? I mean, would it be hard to find a room to rent somewhere or something? You think?
Probably to what you guys are used to paying. It'd probably be easy. There's
Yeah.
houses for rent everywhere. I have friends that are moving from Jamaica in August, and they can't even believe the cost of houses. They're like,
Wow.
oh my gosh, I can't. But even if you look from Miami to where I live,
Yeah.
to Orlando, to Jacksonville, you're going to get it significantly different with what you can buy.
Yeah.
And then if you go into the center of the state away from the ocean, the amount of property you're going to be able to get is going to get significant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's so hard, man. I went on a drive a few weeks ago, actually to a Freedom Cells camp out up in Seattle. So that was a good 4.5 hour drive. But man, oh man, it was the most beautiful, perfect day, and got to see Mount Hood and Mount Rainier, and I was just overwhelmed with. I'm like, dude, this place is just so perfect. It's just it's worth fighting for, man. It's worth fighting for. Honestly.
Yeah, it's amazing in Oregon.
It was
Especially for 3 months out of the year, it might
Yeah.
be better than
I was about to
any
say
other
3
place.
months, 2.5, 3 months of the year. It's
Yep.
great.
Today, it could not possibly be any better.
Yeah, we had
right now.
90,
Yeah,
91, 92, whatever yesterday. I think today it's 88, 89. It's blue.
Sunny.
It's hot. It's dry, hot. It burns your feet. Well, not my feet, but it would burn Scott's feet to walk on the ground.
I've got privileged feet.
He
That's what I
does
call it.
have
Yeah.
privileged feet.
Privileged feet. Yeah. Yep.
Extra privilege.
Yeah, I can't walk around on rocks or hot cement.
But yeah. So, but I would not miss the mountains. Not at all. I would definitely not do good to move to the Midwest area, or even middle of the country. I can't be that far away from an ocean. I don't think. I was thinking maybe I could, but I don't think that would ultimately be psychically healthy for me. I don't know. I feel like you kind of have to be where the inner part of you thrives in whatever kind of natural environment. I mean, maybe it's not a natural environment for everyone, but I don't know. I just know that's kind of, I have to definitely have fire, a fire pit all the time. We know this about me, morning and night sometimes, but then definitely got to have the water. And someone was saying too, well, what about big rivers? Well, I don't know. Those are nice. It's not the same. They're not salty. They don't wash. I don't know. You know how the ocean is. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's one nice thing is like in Oregon, even like from being in Portland, as long as I was to drive to the coast, you'd be hard pressed to be in a place in Florida that would take you that long to get to the beach.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
Like most parts of most towns, or at least, I mean, I'm an Atlantic girl. I've grown up. I was, born in Palm Beach, raised in Vero. I like the Atlantic seaboard. I know people that are addicted to the Gulf Coast. They would never leave it. I'm biased. I like my Atlantean, Bahamian, people right out there. I like the whole Bermuda Triangle of it all.
Yes. So there's all that allure. Wow. Yeah. See,
yeah, I like treasure.
Things.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pirate in me loves treasure. I live on the treasure coast. So it makes sense. I like precious metals and things like that. I don't know. I love Florida. Right down to the politics. The dirty places are dirty, and everyone in the country knows about them. If you pick up Dade County, everyone knows how dirty Dade County is. Everyone knows Orlando's creepy. Yes, Disney World, NASA, all the creepy things stick out like red herrings. But red herring wouldn't be the right term at all. But I think that the fact that they're all here means there's something about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Some energy, definitely some energetic, some focal points there. What about the idea of it being like kind of waterlocked and there's like pretty much one way in, one way out? Is that a concern at all? Like in some sort of like whatever, like there's main artery coming in but otherwise it's just on a peninsula. Like what are your thoughts on that? Is that a vulnerability?
My brother lives in the Keys, and I'm a pirate, so the idea of getting on a boat and leaving isn't like a crazy idea.
Okay, exactly.
And the islands are all right there. There's so many islands everywhere. I mean, most people's fantasy is like the New World Order is going to come and we're going to move to an island. Yeah. Well, you could just get on a boat and drive there from Florida. It's not, there's islands that you've never even heard the name of that aren't on the map.
I'm like, sold.
Wow.
Sold.
Wow. So you're just going to have to.
I want to go out and visit.
Yeah.
Like I know I was saying like Texas when I was thinking Texas, and my daughter's in Texas still, but she's coming home now. She is. Yes. So, but I don't know. And I agree with you too. Like, and I've been talking to families here and I've like made just in the last few weeks, like connections with like other moms and, her children have gotten to be, fast friends with my children. And I'm hearing like there's a charter school that's a possibility maybe for us for the next year. And like, I'm seeing some things that could be potentially grounding, but then I also think like prior to the whole COVID New World Order rollout, like I don't thrive here 8-9 months of the year. And it's such a huge emotional struggle for me, and I just don't do well with it. And I'm just like, I'm the age that I am, and I've been here an awful long time. I mean, all told, I've been here, back and forth 20 years of my life, which is half my life. And I know that I don't thrive here by now, and so like days like this, days like yesterday, heck yeah, I'm just like somebody like plugged me into the wall and I'm all charged up and I'm ready to go and like conquer life. But for the dark months, that's not the case for me. And I struggle with, a lot of things, and depression's one of them. And I'm definitely strongly affected by the weather. So there's that pull, to get where it's consistently warmer, where it's consistently brighter, where it's consistently bluer, where the growing season is longer. Because that's one thing that I have a tiny baby garden, but
Yeah, you're good at it.
Your garden
Unlike
looks amazing.
Ed and I.
Yeah. My garden sucks.
But yeah, I'm trying. But I think too, just, I don't know. I would love to think that all the things that I'm confident are coming our way that we're going to have to trudge through. Like I'd love to be wrong about all of those things. And I hope that I am. But I'm not on any high horse, but I feel that that's coming. There are a lot of things coming that we're going to have to really fucking figure out, like in a really super hard, concrete way, how to not be a part of this system. And so growing food and like gardening, having my feet in the dirt and having the sun on my shoulders and just having like friends come over and just like, we're just hanging around and like eating what we grew and like playing music together, like singing or just having fellowship. Like to me, that is such a huge pull and appeal. And I don't know, like I still have 3 younger kids. Is this the best place for them to finish growing up. Like the chances of them ever going back to school in Oregon, at least under the mandates and the new rules and all the things that they have now, is 0. And I want them to have a different kind of a life than I feel that, at least right now, presently, what I feel like can be offered them. Because at the end of the day, I can give them all that I'm able to, but I'm just one person, I'm one woman, and they need to have the benefit of community. They need to have the benefit of friends. They need to have the benefit of other people interacting and investing in their lives and pouring into them, and so that they can learn to pour back. I mean, there's just, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of a complex dynamic. And two, you know, I have older kids who, I don't know, it's a lot, but I do definitely feel a strong pull that direction. And I think for so many reasons, I mean, and I spoke to you about this, we've talked about this, but I just think when I get there, I can look at pictures and you can tell me how wonderful it is. And I feel like it's probably going to be, but I just want to just like flow with it. I just want to feel it and like try the place on for size and like interact with the people and walk into some places and walk down to the beach and just like let it actually like tell me if it's pulling me. Let it
Try
actually
it on.
like, you know, yeah, just feel it out. So I don't know. July, I'm still hoping.
It's so, I mean, Oregon, I just know how sweet it is when it's sweet.
When it's sweet,
And and if you're not scared to sweat, I can't imagine so many other places that are better than Florida. Like if you're really not scared of the heat, if you're not scared of the suns, like it's going to sit in your passenger seat. It's going to sit on your shoulders. It is going to feel away. Like I can't explain it enough how different the sun is here. Like, yep, you need a hat. You need to be sensible about your sunscreen. I mean, probably I don't do these things, but I'm a Floridian.
I was like, I don't think I'm going to be doing any of that sunscreen or hats, but I appreciate
That's
the
natural stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I just like to get to that stage every summer where my skin gets so brown that it starts to kind of get leathery and not take on any more brown. You know, like your skin's taken on all the possible pigment that it possibly can, and then for like the next 8 months, it just slowly fades out of my skin until the first few weeks of spring, and then I'm brown again. But yeah, and I start to get the sunspots where you've like definitely bleached your skin out too, and like, you know, there's like a little white spot on your arm. I had that a couple years in a row, some years back, and then like for a year I was like, maybe just sunblock on those weird spots because I'm gonna want that to tan even down the road. So
I was like, I'm going to be racially ambiguous by the end of summertime.
Yeah,
and I got told, no, you're just going to look like tan mom.
Tan mom.
tan mom.
Yeah. I was like, noted. I'll stay out of the sun a little bit. I'm not going to look ever some kind of foreign person. I'm just going to look like a tan Florida lady.
Tan mom. Well,
I'm kind of fully invested in staying here. I think, you know what I mean. At this point, like what's really I've been focusing my energy in is just our little freedom cell and getting all that stuff up and running, and just these connections that we're making, and like that's expanding out to other groups. Or kind of like I had somebody from another group reach out to me today saying, "Hey, we're doing this meetup. We kind of like you guys come show up to this one and stuff." And it's just like. And like I said, I talked about it earlier, how I went to this this like Freedom Cell camp out a few weekends ago up in Seattle, and there was probably like 200 people up there, just all Pacific Northwest regional people. And like one of my biggest takeaways was just like, holy shit, we got to get one of these going down here in Oregon. So we are, and we found some property. We found a person who's used to running, who used to help set up Burning Man and do burners, what he called them, all over the country. And so we're doing like a full blown like agorist festival here.
Cool.
In Oregon
I'll
at the
invite
end
Big
of July.
Tech.
Yeah, no. And at the end of July, we're not gonna announce like any names or anything like that. But it's gonna be our inner circle. But it's just like this is what we're doing, dude. We're building this thing. We're building our own institution, right? I don't know, or something. So I'm just super excited about it. Like some of these folks are just like, we've had a bunch of them on the show. You know, some of the most amazing people we've ever met. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. So I don't know, man. I've been focusing a lot of my energy in that lately. So I don't know. It's been cool.
I totally think that's awesome. I think even if you're in communist China in the bleakest spots, hopefully there's still some person holding a light on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. That's what we're trying to do. Absolutely.
What about Dr. Fauci?
Yeah, I was just going to bring that
Okay,
up.
I'm glad that came up.
Yeah. Like today, so we got some emails. So what have we found out, Scott? I glanced at a tweet this morning from Ricky, and I kind of read through the article. I'm like, it didn't seem like he said that much. But then you showed me some like kind of bombshell shit later in the day here that like basically showed how to build the virus, right?
Yeah, I haven't like vetted this stuff other than the fact that one of the best things about doing a podcast, and I recommend this to anybody, if you happen to able to get on the Union of the Unwanted, right? You get to get in this Union of the Unwanted Telegram channel with all the participants, right? And then so today I was like, hey, does anybody know where I can get the actual emails? Not just what CNN or Washington Post are saying about the emails. Can you guys show me the actual emails? And boom, in 2 seconds, Steve from Slow News Day's yeah, here you go, bro. Boom. Just sent me a link to the PDF. So I'm all right. So we got all the files. There's 3,200 and something of them.
It's like a WikiLeaks
emails.
job.
Yeah, it's pretty much a WikiLeaks job. So, I've just been throughout the day, people have been kind of curating it and posting different ones, and I've seen a few pretty alarming ones. Now I haven't vetted in, other than to go in and verify that they're actually in that email dump. But there's one that literally says, let me see if I can find it here.
You sent it to me on Signal. If that's the
So I got here. It says it's from a guy named Adam Gertner, Gaertner, and the subject of the email says coronavirus bioweapon production method. And this is from March 11th, 2020.
Yeah. Is that the one you sent to our chat? Yeah.
It says, hello, Anthony. This is how the virus was created. And then the very first, and it lists some ingredients. And the very first ingredients, it says, interviron fusion, HIV. So the very first thing.
there was reports of the HIV very early on when this thing happened. They were finding HIV in it. So.
Yeah, so I gotta say, so in the Union of the Unwanted chat, I posted that. And I said, I said, man, I can't believe one guy, gave the world AIDS and HIV. What the hell, dude? That's insane. And Whitney Webb responded and said, what did she say? She said, yikes. So I got Whitney Webb to say, yikes, dude. That's a win, dude. That's a win. Yeah, totally, anyway.
I mean, we talked about this a little bit before the show too. It's just I think we all know that this guy's a bad guy and he's up to no good. And maybe there's something in there, but the fact that this is getting leaked by the Washington Post and it's on all your mainstream media, there's something more to this. And I don't trust things when they come through the mainstream media. Immediately I'm skeptical.
Or do you think it's more of them just telling us what they're doing?
I mean, it could be some of that. I think they mix that in, right? They do.
I feel not to be totally black-pilled on it, but I am. Nothing's going to come of it. We can all be incensed and furious, and it can be an ungodly injustice and all of these things. But look at what they just did with the elections. Look at what the elite are doing to children. Look at how we're not talking about Hunter Biden. Look at how we're hiding the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was supposedly killed himself in his cell, which I don't think he's dead at all. But if he is, the whole thing is so highly. Everything that they cover up and hide and they put right in front of our fucking noses, and then it just falls away. Just nothing happens. Nobody has to answer. Look at what he's gotten away with to this point. Look what he's gotten away with to this point. The fact that we're seeing emails that confirm what we already know he was doing. I don't know. I hope something awful, and in terms of just what he has coming for betraying humanity in this way would be fantastic. But I don't think anything will come of it. I think this is going to be. I wonder also what's it distracting us from. What else is going on?
I think it's. Go ahead.
I just can't. Everything that's happening now, I'm looking in the light of the SPARS scenario that people have been going over a lot lately, and I feel like there's going to be these people that are going to kind of be fall guys. I think Anthony Fauci, I think Bill Gates, these guys that were these prominent people that really pushed this thing. I think they're we're seeing what's happening with Bill Gates now. I think the same thing could be happening with Anthony Fauci. I think we're quickly approaching when we're going to start seeing some real reaction from this vaccine rollout. That this spike protein is really doing the damage. I think they're not going to be able to deny it. We've had 4,400 reported deaths to VAERS, and we know that system is reporting. They're saying less, but it's a percentage. It's a fraction, right? I think at some point they're not going to be able to deny what is happening from the vaccine, and some people are going to go down, and I think it's these people that have been the main people in front of us. And I think that's what a lot of the SPARS scenario was about. They're
going to need heads to roll in the face of in the public eye, but their heads aren't going to actually be rolling. They're just going to make us think that that's happening, so they can just slide the next person into their place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think Anthony Fauci has served his purpose. He's been a good little Anthony Fauci for the elite.
He's fully rich to go and live out his little disgusting existence.
But I think at some point you can't deny that he's been a part of this. they can't keep propping him up. They can't at some point. So at some point, they're going to throw him under the rug. And I think the same thing's going to happen with Bill Gates, or I think it kind of is happening. There's things are shifting. And granted, this is all theoretical. I don't know, but this is, certainly there's been major shifts that, and they have ran scenarios, and generally when they run scenarios, it's because, shit's going to happen or it's coming or,
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know whether it's our exposing the narrative that allowed the narrative to get away from him. Like, end of the day, the narrative's gotten away from him, and it's all coming down, right? They're whether it's the media, the establishment, their legs are caught in a trap, and they're trying to chew their leg off right now. They're trying to figure out a way to escape. And I don't know whether it's because people have been going so hard at exposing it, or I don't know. There's something. I've heard other arguments saying like somewhere at the very, very top, there's different power factions that are kind of struggling to implement their version of the New World Order. It's like, no, we wanted this New World Order, and these guys are like, no, we want this New World Order. So right now, what we're witnessing is like the infighting of the establishment, the people at the very top. Like, and a very interesting thing with that is like, so we're all talking about how this being a big global depopulation agenda, right? Like some sort of like mass die-off, like culling of the species, all that stuff. Yeah. While at the same time, China is just encouraging and incentivizing people to have like 3 kids now, where it's always been the standard that, China has one kid.
When are they doing that?
And a few years ago, they reversed the one-child policy to two children, and then now, like just in the last couple of days, now they're incentivizing 3 kids.
Well, that doesn't make any sense unless they're going to use these children from some diabolical government program, because most of the children in China who are the child beyond one are in orphanages still, like legit orphanages with like thousands of children.
I mean, the New World Order is basically it's a world of slavery. Yeah. So maybe they want more slaves.
Maybe that's it, because they're already coming from such an enslaved society.
How many facial recognition cameras do they have already?
That makes sense.
At this point, they can manage this side of the herd. Maybe they're realizing we can manage a bigger herd.
Yeah,
maybe. And so that's what I'm saying, is that like while the rest of the New World Order is going towards a depopulation agenda, you have places like China that are breaking away and saying, no, we're going to repopulate, massive population growth, right? And so I think you're seeing different factions of the New World Order fighting each other.
Well, isn't that how you take over planet or a country? Absolutely. Is that you would outbreed the people that were there before, and then you would spread the ideology to the children, and within a generation you would control things. So if you can, they say one of the biggest problems in America is that the more educated we got, the less children that we had.
Absolutely.
And so that's how we lost our ideology. As other communities started to breed more than us. And so like the cores of what those American values are have slowly died with how many kids that we're not having or aborting.
So that's the solution now. In order to combat the globalist agenda, right? We need to like just massively start breeding. We need to encourage mass Americans to breed.
Just,
all you
Americans
together.
Out there mass breeding, don't do it with the vaccinated.
All Americans just come together, just start breeding, having kids everywhere. Just love, just pure love.
Well, one of the things that we lost, besides the fact that we were educating ourselves out of having babies, is that we were in the pursuit of education and of the higher pursuits in life. We weren't parenting and raising our kids, and that was another huge way that Americans lost so much ground over the last 20, 30 years. I think it's just been this incremental perversion and destruction of the family in almost every way. I mean, and it's just, and it led us to where we are now, masking our kids and, sticking needles in their arms so that they can play soccer or whatever bullshit that they're selling
or letting
people.
them stick their own needles in their arms.
Well, how about that? Yeah. How about that? Who would have ever thought I would take my 3 minor children to the side and be like, if you guys are ever walking around the neighborhood and anybody tries to fucking stick a needle in your arm, you guys say no and run in the other direction. Like, why is it's crazy what I'm actually having to discuss.
The school nurse is telling you.
Which is why my kids are not going to ever have a school nurse.
Raggedy Ann. That's why Raggedy Ann was created.
What is the story behind Raggedy Ann? Did we talk about this? I heard something about that not long ago. It was like a dark...
It felt familiar right when I said it. I'm like, did I already say this to you guys on the show?
No, but I thought I heard something not long ago. Tell me.
Raggedy Ann, and I could be a little off in the story, but there was, they were injecting kids with like polio vaccines and all this weird shit that was really experimental. And so I feel like a grandfather or somebody who is also a psychiatrist created Raggedy Ann so that they could have a kid come in and ask the kid where they were poked at school, because they would know by where the kid pointed what kind of vaccine that they were trying to give the children at the school.
Oh, dude.
Some shit.
Breaking
insane.
news.
Wow.
Breaking news. Wow. We're gonna have to do like a little mini documentary on this or something.
I know you have to do a little better, and I'm sure find out better details than I just gave it to you.
Chronicles.
Wow.
And I'm sure Snopes and PolitiFact would totally debunk that.
Yes.
Which is how you know right off. Yeah. As soon as they debunk something, you know right away, like, oh, this has grit. This is... They kind of like showed their colors with that. The fact checking and all that and all the flags and all the adding, notifications
it's like,
to the
I didn't
posts.
even believe in QAnon until they started mocking it.
And now
then
I'm
when
like,
they said
oh,
QAnon witch, I'm like, oh, that word always felt a little feminine for me, but I got to try it on for size.
That's awesome. I typed in Raggedy Ann vaccine, and the very first search result that pops up is a Snopes article. So there you go.
Of course.
Gross.
Yep.
Was the Raggedy Ann doll modeled after a child killed by a vaccine? Oh, so that's where they can.
They're changing the
they're doing
words
the
just
straw
ever
man.
so
They're
slightly.
Doing the straw man. Like,
Yeah.
they said, Raggedy Ann was created in 1915 by Johnny Grell, whose daughter Marcella died at the age of 13 after receiving a vaccine. Raggedy Ann was patented before Marcella's death and has nothing to do with vaccine opposition.
Of course.
Bullshit. I say it does.
Yeah, I
It just
totally
makes
think
too
so
much.
too.
It makes too much. It's too ironic for it to not be like, I don't know.
Well,
Okay.
it's so weird that when we were growing up, they gave us those same dolls and gave them like a penis or a vagina. And they were like, where were you touched in school?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
these are your private parts. Like, all of a sudden, there was all this weird, like, really big pushing on us to sexualize us at the youngest age possible. But it was under the guise of protecting us.
I remember in elementary school, like 4th grade, maybe. I remember them doing that, and I was actually molested and had been misused. And so it was like this guise where they had like somebody come, and I know they didn't discuss with our parents that they were going to have whoever, volunteers, counselors, cops, I don't know who the fuck they were, but they had a bunch of them come to our school, and it was like they announced it like midday, and they were like, if it, I think we did like an assembly, and then they were like, if you want to talk to somebody, you want to, if you need a safe person to speak to and blah, 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 that you can go and talk to one of these people. And so I don't remember what the process was. I don't know if I raised my hand or wrote my name on a note or whatever. So they pulled me out of class. But even as a young child, I knew something was, I didn't end up telling her anything. I mean, I was, as a child that's been victimized, it's really hard to come forward because you feel like you don't want people that you're close to be in trouble. You think that maybe you're to blame or that you
did
caused
something.
it.
There's shame in it.
Yeah. And also it's shameful even if you don't think you did anything wrong, because like psychologically you innately know that that's sacred. Like those areas are sacred, and that's where your innocence is. Like even if no one tells a child that, you can feel it. But I knew.
And even if it's not sexually, sometimes emotionally you like it.
Yeah.
Like you like the attention of it. And so you feel
and it's hard to
guilty.
articulate. I mean, and we all know I've been through terrible abuse, and it's hard to exactly as a grown woman to like try to articulate that balance. Like, well, I was absolutely like being destroyed and having my soul crushed, but also there was this part of me that was like, but when it was magic and it was good, like it's such a hard thing as a grown up woman to say, but as a young child to be able to try to like articulate, like, and even now I have to remind myself, like, not everything is good or bad, and not everything is just black and white. Like things are, and people are infinitely complicated, and the things that happen to us are what we go through. Anyway, it's different for each person too. But all that to say, I remember it just being off, even as a child who got the courage to say, like, I wanted to tell what had happened. And getting to be, I was sitting on this bench outside with this, I remember her thinking that she was like younger than my mom, like this young girl. And she was like, well, did you want to tell me anything? And she's just like looking at me, and it was just so uncomfortable and so off and so wrong. And even as a little kid, I remember just saying, well, I don't think that I do. And I just went back to class because I remember thinking like, I didn't feel, it's just weird. It's just, I had forgotten about that. But anyway. Interesting.
I think all those same emotions, and it's so crazy because as a kid, you don't know what sexual is. You don't know any different. And I think all those same emotions have to be there if somebody's sticking a fucking needle in your arm at school without your parents knowing.
Yeah.
Or like making you wear a mask, or you hear those crazy fucking stories of like kids that were coming home from daycare in like Southern California, and they were like, they're taking us into tunnels underneath the daycare and doing these satanic rituals on us. And everyone's like, what? These crazy kids with their crazy imaginations. And then they go in and there's tunnels in the daycare and there's these satanic rituals on these
And
kids.
they have STDs, and the kids have STDs. Yeah. Right?
And
How do you explain that? Right? Yeah.
There's just like the amount of stories that this is happening on that are just being pushed under the rug. But I think the saddest part is that all the people that are not owning up to the fact that this is a real problem all over with whatever is going on with kids, all those people all know it to be true in their real life. They know, they have personal examples and people they can touch, feel, and love of how kids are just being slighted and abused. And they know it because it happened to them. Yeah. And so that's the craziest part, that we're in this place right now where it's just a conspiracy theory. A thing they say about Dr. Fauci or Biden or Hunter or Wiener or I don't know, the list goes on, Epstein or Ghislaine, or everything's just a big fantasy, or, you know, and it's not a big fantasy. This is the real life. Like, I think human trafficking, I know this jumped around a little bit from us talking about vaccines.
It's all right.
But it's just the biggest commodity of all time. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about slavery in the Americas or slavery in the Middle East or in Somalia or wherever. It's all human trafficking, and it boils down to so they can do really creepy shit to children. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's gold or silver or oil or cocaine. Children are still the biggest commodity. Yes. And so until we as human beings, all of us as grown-ups who have power and have voices, until we could admit like the highest commodity is these kids. Yes. They want to fuck them. They want to ritualistically abuse them. They want to drink their blood. They want to impregnate them. They want to test vaccines on them. They want to totally erase any idea of any, like, look how far away we are from our ancestors and from our attachment to this planet and how capable we are. They want to erase any, like, they want, like, government being their dad. Like, that's our worst thing we can think of. They've already got worse planned for them. They will have some kind of trans overlord where it will be robots. Their womb will not be their own. They will not be able, like, sexuality will not be their own at all. They will be shamed and embarrassed of every part of that. And so the government will decide how you procreate. Love will not be an existence. That will not be an emotion that is allotted to share, because love would pollute a bloodline. Like that's human mess. Love. I think we're in a way that it's such a spiritual war. Yeah. They want all your shit on the computer. They want you to just trust and be so scared of your connection to source and each other. And they want your kids to never know it existed. Right. Like, if they have any way about it, there will not be a God for your children. And that is the goal. Like, they do not want them to think they're special. Yeah. They're headed for a slave planet. Yes. And it's not just Oregon, as bad as we can say Oregon and California are. We're fucking lucky to still be in America, where even the biggest Hollywood liberal shitbag can rip off their mask and do something about it today. They can still do something about it right now. They can stand up against any mandate. Everyone can. They can just be brave enough to stand up. But there's a lot of other countries out there that don't have the same luxury. So if it isn't us right now, who is it? Are we waiting for Australia to stand up for us? Right. Are we waiting for Europe to come save us? Is Canada going to be the ones to come down with their guns and free us from Joe Biden? Like, I think it's America, and I think everybody else knows it's America, and they're like, come on, America.
Yeah, they're waiting on us.
100%.
Yeah. Dude.
So well said.
Wow, Chaney, you just blew my mind.
Yes, that was fantastic.
I don't even know.
Raggedy Ann.
Yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. That's it right there,
Wow.
man. Whew. Ah.
I feel like that kind of wraps it up.
Yeah. I'm kind of speechless.
I wish I had my notebook because there was like 4 things I needed to
Yep.
Google. So I'm gonna.
Yep.
I mean, duck.com.
Yep. Presearch.org.
Okay, all right. I knew there
Presearch.org.
was one that I wasn't.
Yeah. We're moving on to pre-search.
I Google everything only now. I feel like if a revelation of the method is what they have to do, then I have to be able to find it right on the front pages of Google.
Yeah. I mean, that's what
So
we're
I don't
finding.
want to dig deep for anything anymore. I don't care if it's Fauci. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Biden. I don't care if it's a vaccine. I don't care, whatever it is. I can look on the pages of Google, and now I have the tools of discernment. I don't need them to tell me with their papers of yay or nay or facts or whatever. I can just see that they're talking about it, and it validates a feeling that I have called intuition.
Yes.
Humans used to really like be good at this thing, and that's all we need.
Yeah.
They can burn the books. They can get rid of everything. We know we're attached to it. We have all the answers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right. And that's what they want to keep us away from is that intuition. And it's like we've talked about before, like they wanted historically for anyone that had any kind of connection to source, to God, to their intuition, following their gut feelings, spells and magic, all of that have just been told historically that they're crazy and that they didn't know what they were seeing. They didn't know what they were hearing. They didn't know what they felt. But them trying to wipe that from our children will ensure that our children's children will have no God and no ability to connect to God because it will have been, generationally wiped from their conscience. So,
Can you take it out of their food? Like, can you stick enough metal in them to take their soul away? Can you spray their food enough to take their soul away? Can you educate them enough out of their soul? Like, I don't know. And maybe it's a combination of all of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. But but I didn't see them doing that 2 years ago to this degree. I mean, I didn't see it. And we've said this over and over again, but that's what makes these kind of alliances and the fact that all of us sitting around this table right now see it and we understand, and we're going to teach the people coming after us, and we're going to tell the stories that are in our hearts and minds, and we're going to continue to shine a light so that people aren't lost.
They can't. That's why we're here.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
can't. They can't crush our souls to that point. Even if it gets darker, it'll get better.
Yeah,
And there is a mass awakening happening.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
It is the shadows that hold on are the ones that are embedded the deepest. So we're at a place that's going to hurt the worst, but we're also in a place that like we're the warriors that out of all the lifetimes, whether you are from a line of samurais that made it out alive, or a line of witches or dragon riders or soldiers, or like you're from a line of people that they couldn't kill. And like your line of people is meant to be here right now because once upon a timeline, we win. And this is the timeline. I really believe it. And it's like a knowing. It's bigger than a faith.
Right.
It's a knowing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Totally agree.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well said. Well, Chaney, did you want to add anything else before we close up?
No, I love you guys. I'm glad I got to hang out with you guys
Heck
today.
yeah.
Love you too,
I'm so
Chaney.
happy
You're
to
the
see
best.
your face. Do you want to plug everything that you'd like to plug?
Plug.
For everything that I'm doing, you can go to projectchaney.com. I'm going to be getting better at having all the links and everything there because I'm getting lovely help from Thomas at Paranoid American.
Nice.
I'm like,
Awesome.
I could have him send me the stuff, or I could just have him put it up. So he's going to help me get my website all together, but you should be able to find my podcast and good conversations with great people everywhere that podcasts are free.
Yay. Thanks,
Amazing.
Chaney.
Wow.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Great.
much for being here.
Yay.
Always happy to talk
We'll
to
do
you.
it again soon. You are now the all-time leader on the Mount Rushmore of Truthzilla.
Yep.
Hell yeah. I
Most-
love that.
most
That makes
frequent
me
flyer.
so excited.
You're a most frequent
I'm
flyer
like
punch
how
card.
Tom Hanks is on Saturday Night Live,
Exactly.
but I'm that for Truthzilla.
Exactly. That's it. Or Steve Martin, right? Steve Martin, I guess, was never actually
Yeah,
a
he's
cast
in that
member.
club too.
Yeah. So there you go. Awesome. Chaney, you're the best. Freaking love you. I hope everybody goes and
Thank you
checks out
so
Project
much.
Chaney. One of the best shows out there.
Yeah.
And we will catch you soon.
Bye.
All right,
Bye,
bye-bye.
Chaney.
All right, guys,
Damn.
man. Always good to have Chaney on, man.
I love
She is, we all love Chaney, right?
Yeah.
How could you not?
Yeah,
She's the best.
Great. She's great.
the best in the business,
She's
man.
pretty incredibly intelligent, and she's super, super intuitive. Anybody who hasn't listened to that episode that she did with Bianca, go listen to all her stuff for sure.
Yeah.
But that episode with Bianca is pretty intriguing. And
Which episode was that? Is the most recent one?
the most recent
the Reiki one.
and then
Okay.
My Maria, and then she did
She had My Maria on?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, she's fantastic and magical.
She was just My
obviously.
Maria was just on tinfoil hat too, huh?
Yeah. Yep. So, anyways. Well, everybody, wow, thank you so very much for sitting in with us and listening to us chat with our dear friend Chaney. Please go and find her at Project Chaney.
.com.
And .com,
Yeah.
projectchaney.com. And until next time, I am Megan, sitting here with Scott and Ed. We wish all of you intellectual prosperity. Good night.
Pew, 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 pew.
Ding.
Ding.
You can't ding over my ding.
I'll edit it out. I'll edit it
Now
out.
I'm going to have to do a
dings.
ding that's
Okay,
higher
ding again,
pitched. Hold
ding
on.
again, ding again.
No, I'm just kidding. I
Ding
can't.
again.
I can't. Go ahead.
Ding.
Really?
Go.
No, you're fine.
Good.
Ding.
There it is.